I'm paralyzed from my waist down. Because my legs are just like a table to me, you know, since I can't feel them. It's just like, you know, I think, like if I'm in there curling my hair, I've done this once or twice, I'll just set my curling iron down on my legs. And a few seconds later, I'll lift it up and there'll be a burn or something. But I'm getting better about it.
Patricia Morlaw.
I miss cheerleading. Well, I mean, it's my senior year, and me and my friends, that's what we've been waiting for, you know, to be cheerleaders our senior year. Ever since we were 7th grade, that's all we wanted to do, so we could, you know, be senior cheerleaders. And then this year, I didn't get to do it. And at the first pep rally, it was sad. Me and my friends, we cried, but sometimes I feel left out. Maybe just like at the pep rally or something, I just feel, I don't know, like a spectacle or something. I don't feel part of them anymore. And you know, they're always saying stuff like, oh, you're still part of us, you're still part of the squad. But I'm not. I am, but I mean, I still think of myself as a cheerleader, you know, and I'll still wear my letter jacket to the games and stuff, but I'm really not a cheerleader, you know? I don't know.
To me, he was cool, you know. I thought he was what cool. I mean, you looked in the dictionary and there was a picture of Robert. I mean, he bought me my first pair of Reeboks. I mean, my mom didn't have the money, and he went out and he earned the money. It seems like he was a dream sometimes. But I mean, I like to think about him a lot, but it hurts when I think about it. Before I had my 13th birthday, I wanted him to be there real bad. And when he wasn't there, I just wanted to be alone. I always think about, you know, I wanted him to see me when I graduated and see what I would be, because he always wanted to. That's what he told me. And I mean, I always wonder if he sees what I'm doing right now. I think sometimes, you know, it seems like it just happened yesterday. And I'll go to the cemetery and I'll sit and I'll cry. And other days I'll go and it seems like it happened years ago. And I mean, I don't cry, but I still think about him. And I think, you know, 15, 20 years down the line, my kids are gonna wanna know, you know, about Robert and everything. And I just wonder how I'll tell them how he was like, and if they'll understand how he was like, you know.
I was driving home and ran out of gas. A policeman was helping put flares up behind my automobile, and a drunk driver came along real fast and crushed my legs, and the car exploded. I was burned over 85% of my body. If I would have did this to someone else, I don't think I could have lived with myself. I don't feel hatred towards the person. I'm more angry about the way our society views this phenomena of drinking and driving, and that we are not as responsible as I think we should be for our actions regarding certain accidents are going to happen, but certain type of accidents we could limit if we would be more responsible about the things that we do before we drive, such as drinking.
I went through most of my grief at the funeral. It was just a lot of crying and a lot of trying to be with old friends.
Looking back,
that's all we have is each other. That's all we have, you know, nothing else. She had her friends and I had my friends, but when they were gone, it was just us and nobody else.
For a moment, all the world was right. How could I have known that you'd ever say goodbye? And
don't think that your sister's always going to be there for you, because you never know when she's going to be gone, and that you don't have one. You won't have anybody to talk to.
I could have missed the pain, but I'd have had to miss the day.
You never know how much you miss them until they're not there.
Sammy was in a coma for 3 months. He was in the hospital 4 months. When we brought Sammy home, he was a complete vegetable. We were told that he might not survive the car wreck first, and then we were told that he would be a complete vegetable, that to put him away in a state school or a nursing home, because he would never accomplish anything in life anymore. My husband and me were determined to give it a try, and we brought him home. What we had at home now was a young infant in a grown man's body.
I used to play the trombone at school. I didn't like to think about when I walked the ball.
Why?
Because I'm in the wheelchair, and now instead of walking,
Somebody asked me once, and they asked me, would it been better if Sammy had died? And the only response to that is one of Sammy's own. He would ask me at the beginning, the first couple of years, why didn't we let him die? He said, why? Why? He would ask me that over and over again. I would have been better off dead. And it hurts. And it hurts me because I know it crossed many of our minds too.
Well, it was back in the Christmas of 80, I think it was 86. My sister took down her stocking, and I'm over there looking at my stuff, and she's over there reading some note that she got out of some kind. And next thing you know, she's going, Clint, 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 let's go outside. Come on, come on, come on. I'm like, what? And she said, well, come on, come on. So we went outside and just trampoline. We spent most of the day just out there. Some of my relatives came over, and they sat outside and just all watched us make fools of ourselves. Tonight I found out that she was dead. It was just like somebody just, tore your heart out or something. It's like no feeling anyone ever wants to feel. It was really hard to take, I guess reality didn't really hit me until I saw her there in that hospital bed. For the first time, it was just so many emotions rushing at once. It was really hard to cope with. She just looked like she was sleeping. If you didn't see the machines, you would have just thought she was sleeping, except for the tube they had in her mouth. It was a trach, I think. She looked normal. She wasn't cold, she was warm. She didn't look dead. As far as I knew, I could just say, wake up. But it wasn't like that. Death is permanent. And it's unfixable. So, after everyone left, they just took off life support, and that was it. She didn't breathe, she didn't move.
When you're just growing up as a guy, you're not supposed to feel pain, you're not supposed to cry, right? So it's real hard saying, yeah, I do miss my father and my family, and I wish they were here. And you try to say, it ain't nothing, but it is. It's emotions that you try not to deal with. And you say, well, guys aren't supposed to be that way, so I can't be that way. I couldn't even force myself to go to the funeral home. It's just, I just couldn't do it. I don't know why, I just couldn't do it. Well, my father was a strong man. He did everything he could for the family, as any parent would do. We used to go camping a lot when we were younger. And, you know, I used to work with him as well. So that's where he taught me, you know, do everything the best you can do, never give up, you know. My little sister's having to grow up telling everybody, well, I don't have a dad. No, they're not divorced. I have a dad, he was just killed. My little brother's going to grow up not knowing what a father is, you know, basically. So it's going to be really hard on them.
Drinking, I drank every day. Every morning I start my day off with a shot of whiskey. Because I thought with that whiskey in me, I could face any problem I had throughout the day. When I was drinking and I was in my car, nobody could catch up with me. I was faster than anyone. I was in my own little world, like, and I was the ruler, the best, the king.
But if I'd only known how the king would fall, hey, who's to say? You know, I might have changed it all.
I was doing 80 miles an hour and I fell asleep on a T. On one, at the end of the road, you go right or left. On the other side is the ditch. I slid into the ditch, tried to make that left turn, slid into the ditch. So I got thrown head first into the passenger door doing 80 miles an hour and broke my neck on that door. Man, when I first woke up after my coma in the hospital, I didn't really realize what happened because I thought, well, who are all these people staring at me, man? Why? Why do they keep staring at me? They're hooking up. They got me taped to the tables. They got me hooked to wires and screws in my head. And I didn't realize what it was for. But when I finally realized what happened, man, I just didn't want to believe it. This was John. This could not happen to me. I was invincible. I was a cat with 9 lives. I would never get like this. It was just scary, and I finally snapped to reality that, John, you're messed up. You can never run again. You cannot play football ever again. Most of all, you can never ride bulls again, ever. I mean, God, it just slapped me in the face. I just didn't want to realize it, but I had to. There are things you can never get out of for the rest of your life. I will always, every time I go to that bathroom mirror in the morning, getting dressed, I'm always reminded of what I cannot get out of, you know. I'm stuck with scars all over my body now. And these scars always remind me of, you know, what happened, why it happened, and how it happened. Every day I'm reminded of what I used to be and how I used to do, and now, you know, it's just, it's sickening. Like, when I look at me, I think, gosh, you know, look what you had. You gave it all away for drinking.
My brother, he was very special to me. I don't know. He was the typical big brother. When I was 13 years old, when I turned 13 that year, the year that he died, it was on my birthday. He came in and he brought me a bear, a stuffed bear, and a card. And he was sort of embarrassed because all my friends were there, so he didn't really want to say I love you or nothing. He never really said it, you know, he'd just write it down or something. But he gave me that card, and I still have the card. It says I love you and put Chris. That morning when the police came, I was in bed, and what I remember is hearing my mom crying. And I got up to see what was going on, and there was a policeman at the door, and he said he had told my mom that my brother was killed, and I just sort of sat there. I started crying, and I just sort of wished that someone had stole his wallet, you know, and they identified the wrong body, and it wasn't him, and he was going to come back, and he was going to walk through the door. That was, the first time that I really cried.
People just don't understand the things that happen. What happens when you drink and drive. If you kill someone, it not only affects them, it affects a lot of people. Friends, relatives and stuff. Not only just them by them going to jail or something and their family, it affects a lot of people. They just don't understand. they're not thinking ahead. They're thinking of the moment that they're having a good time. They're not thinking ahead, thinking about what might happen and what could happen.
I would hope that I could get across the pain and the tragedy that has happened in my life and my family's life that could happen to any one of you, that could happen to your daughter or your sister, your father, your mother, because these type of accidents are not handpicked. They're the type of accidents that can happen on just a spur of a moment, just because someone was drinking and did not take the responsibility not to drive.
You can't stop people from drinking. But if you're gonna drive, it's just like making everybody else do the same thing, because they're just as much at risk as you are.
It's just hard to think about people who think it's an accident, who think, well, they didn't mean to drink, you know, or it's stupid. You know, they did it. They took that drink and they got in that car, you know, and they killed someone. And people like that killed my brother, you know. I could never have him back.
Just by the actions of one person, my life, part of my life was taken away. Part of my mom and dad's life were taken away. It's just not worth it all. It's not worth getting out there and trying to have fun and trying to be cool and drink while you're driving. It's just not worth it.
You know, I never thought anything would happen to me. I mean, I just never did. I never thought, I didn't never think I'd be in a wreck. I never thought anything would happen to me. I was always real carefree, and I didn't think about anything. And then when it finally happened, I was like, oh, I couldn't believe it. I mean, I guess you just don't really think about it until it really happens, and then you realize what's most important.